Hi, and welcome back to Celebrity Star Cards. My name is Robert Lee Camp. I am the author of Cards Your Destiny and Love Cards. We're here to explore the lives of different celebrities in the news and show how the science of the cards can reveal the secrets of what's really going on and what people are really up to. Today we're going to be talking about the American sniper, Chris Kyle, who we have a movie now, which is at this point is the best. It's doing really well at the box office, and he's being portrayed by Bradley Cooper, who did an amazing job of being Chris Kyle. But we're going to talk about him from the point of view of the cards today. So what we know first of all about Chris Kyle is he's born on April the 8th, and this makes him a king of diamonds and a two of diamonds. Now, the king of diamonds has the distinction of being the only king in the deck with one eye showing. And this is very significant. This shows up in the personalities of King of Diamonds people. I have a son who's a King of Diamonds, and there's a stubborn quality to King of Diamonds, and there's a quality where they just turn a blind eye to certain things or people or situations in their life and just kind of barrel on through life. And they can get through some really difficult situations and things just by this sheer tenacity of will that they have and their ability to close off to other things in their life. And sometimes what they're closing off to is their own faults or the opinions or the feelings of other people. This is typical for King of Diamonds people. Plus, it's the king of money, the money suit. And all King of Diamonds can be very mercenary. They can be in the sense of they can make money or the attainment and the acquisition of their desires be the number one thing in their life. They can be very strong-willed, determined, and they're usually very successful. I mean, there's a lot of successful people in Hollywood that are King of Diamonds, such as George Clooney and other people. It's a very, very strong card. There's four kings in the deck, and this is the second most powerful king of all the kings. The King of Spades being the most powerful. So this is the thing about King of Diamonds. They're not players on a relationship level. They usually get married and they stay married. But it's very difficult to be married to them because they're just so very strong. Now on top of this, Chris is an Aries, and the Aries is the sign of the warrior. It's a sign of courage and the sign of the warrior. And Chris even told his wife at one point, "You knew you were marrying a warrior. What did you think?" Because he was gone so much in his tours of duty that it almost broke up their marriage. So, being an Aries, he had all this courage, but the fault with Aries sometimes is number one, they become very self-centered, and number two, they rush into situations that without looking, with all this courage, and sometimes it can be a detriment. Now, he performed tremendous courageous acts, and Chris Kyle is a hero. But he also, his death, we don't know really what happened in his death, but I looked at the cards. We have cards for every year of life. I'm going to show you those in a minute. I don't think he ever saw it coming. He never even suspected it. And I think that's part of that Aries quality of rushing in and not being afraid that might have contributed. Now, he's also a two of diamonds, and two of diamonds is extremely smart, and this is where he got his technical proficiency from. Twos are very logic-oriented. They're usually very good in business, and I think he actually did well in business with his books and stuff, and he did really well. But two of diamonds are known also to have trouble with honesty. There's a couple reasons for that. If you're a card student, it comes from, number one, the karma cards. I'll just show you real quick. The King of Diamonds karma cards are the Six of Clubs. I'm sorry, the Two of Diamonds karma cards are the Six of Clubs. That's the first karma card, and Six of Clubs means responsibility to the spoken word or the written word. So all Two of Diamonds have a little bit of a weakness in the area of responsibility about what they say. The other thing is the Two of Diamonds has a Jack of Spades as the first card in their life spread. It's their Mercury card, so it governs how they speak. So the Jack of Spades is extremely creative. It's a one-eyed jack, but it's also known to be dishonest. So we have two indications there of why a two of diamonds person. And Chris Kyle was known to tell a lot of stories. He told a lot of stories, and some of them he went and said them on the news when he's being interviewed. And some of these came back to haunt him because people looked up things he said, and there was no evidence to support it. He was also sued by Jesse Ventura, the former Minnesota governor, and who won the case for $1.8 million over things he said that happened that may or may not have happened, but a jury decided against his case. When I go back to February 2nd, 2013, which is when Chris Kyle died, there's only one indication really of death anywhere in his cards. And we've talked about this before in other sessions. It's this displacement of the nine of spades, which is what we saw coming up in Bill Cosby's cards and other people's cards. That's extremely powerful. There were no cards indicating death at all during the period. But then we have to remember that the cards we see in any one spread are not the cards of what actually happened. It's the cards of what that person was experiencing. So there were no indications, which tells me that he never saw it coming. It wasn't a part of his consciousness. But this nine of spades displacement tells us that this was a year when things really had to come to an end. It's not necessarily a death card. It's not always a death card, but it is always a death card in the sense of something significant in one's life has to come to an end. I want to show you a bit of Eddie Ray Roth, who is the man accused of killing him. It's interesting that now, this month, actually, this trial of Eddie Ray Roth, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ruth or Routh, is coming now. And this particular year, he has a nine of clubs displacement. And in his secondary spread, he has a nine of spades displacement also. So basically, what happened to Chris, in a way, is going to happen to Eddie Ray this year in terms of his trial. So everything is coming down, and all these karmas are met. I think there was a lot of things going on in Chris Kyle's life that were sort of accumulating that maybe some people knew about it. His wife probably knew. But there was an accumulation of things and difficulties that were arising, and that was the time when all that was meant to happen. So Chris Kyle was definitely an American hero. He's reported to have 160 confirmed kills and probably a lot more. And he is, in American history, the most successful sniper or warrior on the battlefield that we've ever known. Thank you. We'll see you next time for another show.